even the chance of a few strong storms. I'll tell you about it as News 5 at 6 starts now.
Now on WKRG News 5.
New charges for a woman police say broke a window of a police cruiser during a protest last week. Why she's now facing federal charges. We remember a Monroe County deputy who died in a crash 1 year ago.
Always remember that he died serving the people of Monroe County.
How many in the community are remembering Deputy Julius Daly this week? And a story you'll see only on News 5.
That's my child in there, and she's all crying on her mom and her dad.
A teen injured in a crash remains in the hospital. Why she hasn't seen her family in weeks due to hospital guidelines.
Local coverage you can count on. You're watching WKRG News 5 at 6.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Albrecht.
I'm Cherish Lombard. It's great to have you tonight. Roseanne Haven has the evening off. New tonight, the woman accused of taking a baseball bat to a Mobile Police Department cruiser window was in court today facing federal charges. She will soon be out of jail and back in the custody of her mother. Tia Pugh is charged with obstructing, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement. WKRG News 5's Dana Winter joins us outside the courthouse in downtown Mobile, where today's hearing took place.
This afternoon, Tia Pugh was not in the courthouse, but she was joined in on the video call. We were not allowed to take our cameras inside. This is the video at the center of this case, but a lot of the discussion focused around evidence presented by the state, showing pictures and conversations from Pugh and her fiance's phones. One picture, a search for the word terrorist. Another from a Facebook group advising how to use paint to blind officers. The couple also received messages from others offering them a place to hide and money.
Some of it's from other people's phones, some of it is from communications, people reaching out to her, and, she didn't take anybody up on any of it.
The judge said this is a case where a defendant would typically not be detained prior to trial. Pugh will also have her location monitored by the court and will have a curfew. Reporting in Mobile, I'm Dana Winter for WKRG News 5.
If you have the WKRG News 5 app, you are one of the first to get this alert. Now, if you don't have it, be sure to download it for free on Google Play or the App Store. Happening now on WKRG.com and our Facebook page, a virtual town hall with local leaders discussing ways to bring the community together. WKRG News 5's Amber Grigley is moderating with Aquilin Kennedy of the NAACP, Mobile Police Chief Lawrence Batiste, Sheriff Sam Cochran, Public Safety Director James Barber, and District Attorney Ashley Rich are some of the leaders speaking tonight, focusing on issues regarding police policies, procedures, and accountability. And along with members of the NAACP, they will be answering your questions until 7 o'clock.
Thursday will mark 1 year since a Monroe County deputy died in the line of duty. Deputy Julius J. Daly was responding to a burglary call when his cruiser crashed not far from Monroeville. News 5's Chad Petrie has a look at how the community is still honoring the fallen deputy.
From the packed funeral service from last year to the memories that won't fade away, it's hard to forget a man like Jay Daly.
It ain't a day that goes by and somebody don't bring up something about Jay and something that he said joking around. And, he always, as I said, he always had a smile on his face when he walked in the room. And always remember that he died serving the people of Monroe County.
For the past few weeks, the sheriff had been spearheading a fundraising campaign to help raise money for Deputy Daly's little girl for the Carly J. Daly Trust Fund.
She's actually got the name Little Princess from all of us here at the department. She comes around ever so often. He loved her, and she is very special to everyone here at the department.
He'll be remembered as more than just a good lawman, but a good man. Daly died doing something routine that turned tragic.
I try to preach to all of our deputies, you cannot help anybody if you don't get to the scene. So we just try to make sure that they watch their speed and be mindful of the roadways.
The sheriff says Daly's legacy will never be forgotten. Chad Petrie, WKRG News 5.
Scattered showers today. More severe weather could be on the way to our area in case you haven't had enough of it over the past several days.
Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Ed Bloodsworth.
Yeah, the severe weather risk tomorrow is low, but it's possible, so we are going to call it a weather aware day for Wednesday. And you mentioned today it's been another very just sort of rough day weather-wise. We've had some scattered downpours. They've been on again, off again through the day, dropping some tremendous amounts of rain in a very short period of time. Right now, we're not seeing quite as much rain as what we were seeing earlier today, and this will be the trend as we start to move through the rest of your evening. Right now, still some good thunderstorms. They've been moving through our northern counties, had one move right into Grove Hill, started to fall apart, but now we're getting a flare-up again right over Jackson. Also, some hefty storms moving over Bruton are now continuing to weaken. And as we start to lose the light of the day and the heating of the day, that will allow these showers and storms to continue to subside. Right now, spotty rain. Nothing too heavy out there now in Mobile County, but some storms moving across Mobile Regional Airport, one over Citronelle and some north of Saraland, and a few more in portions of Jackson County, Mississippi this evening. Temperatures where it is not raining, it is very warm, sitting in the upper 80s, but when you factor in the humidity, check out those heat index values. Right now, it feels like 100 degrees in Chatham and Leakesville. It feels like 97 in Bay Minette, current heat index of 93 at Destin and Pensacola. So even our coastal area is not immune to the stuffiness out there today. So in terms of what you can expect for the next couple of hours, model just paints out these isolated hit and miss showers, just continuing through 8, 9, maybe as late as 10 o'clock tonight. And we'll leave in a very small rain chance through the overnight period. It'll stay very humid. And as I mentioned, tomorrow will be a weather aware day. Tonight, 77, high humidity, isolated strong and severe storms possible for Wednesday. We'll talk about the timing and the impacts in just a few minutes.
Only on News 5, a Clark County teenager who was left lying on the side of a road for 3 hours waiting for help after a crash remains hospitalized tonight. And with coronavirus restrictions, she hasn't been able to see her family in almost a week. You know that's scary. And as WKRG.com mobile journalist Blake Brown tells us, her family did reach out to WKRG News 5. They're scared after 2 surgeries and no one by her side.
18-year-old Mackenzie Finch has been in a hospital bed since last Wednesday.
I think the hardest part about being in the hospital is being away from my mom and dad.
COVID-19 restrictions have kept her isolated and separated from her family.
That's my child in there, and she's all crying on her mom and her dad. You know, she's scared, so it breaks my heart.
It was last Wednesday when she crashed her Jeep in Clark County, laying on the side of Wen Road for 3 hours waiting for someone to stop and help.
This very nice man decided to stop.
She says the accident was traumatizing itself, but now she's left with broken ribs and a punctured lung and no family by her side.
I miss my friends and family. That's all I've been getting is Snapchats and videos of my friends saying they love me.
Tonight, Mackenzie's mom thanking the nurses and doctors who continue to care for her child.
They have been taking wonderful care of her. And, you know, I can't ask. I mean, she's in a hospital that I know she's getting the best care that it is.
She's anxiously waiting for the moment she's allowed to see her again in person. Blake Brown, WKRG News 5.
Blake is part of our mobile journalist team, and you can see his stories first on WKRG.com and get story updates on Facebook and Twitter.
A Baldwin County Subway restaurant forced to close temporarily this week for not complying with CDC coronavirus guidelines. This happened at the location in Bay Minette on Highway 31. WKRG News 5's Brianna Hollis spoke with county health officials about the violations.
The Baldwin County Health Department tells us they checked on this location after receiving complaints and found 2 violations to the governor's order based on the CDC guidelines in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. The health department says employees weren't wearing masks properly and they were still using the self-serve soda fountain. When the health department came back to check on them again to see if they had fixed these problems, officials say those problems were still not fixed, and that's what prompted them to close down this location for about 4 hours earlier this week. The health department does tell us, though, that after that second check-in happened, the restaurant complied, and they're now open and clean and safe to go to. Reporting in Bay Minette, Brianna Hollis, WKRG News 5.
Alabama state troopers are searching for a hit-and-run driver who killed a pedestrian in Mobile County. It happened on Highway 43 in Mount Vernon near Steel Drive around 4:30 this morning. So far, there is no description of the vehicle that hit the pedestrian, who police have not identified.
Coming up, a growing movement to rename several schools across the state of Alabama. What's behind the movement and what leaders are saying about possible changes.
And some exotic cars saved from floodwaters in Mississippi. You'll see how one man became an internet hero for stepping into help next on WKRG News 5 at 6.
You're watching WKRG News 5, local coverage you can count on, with Roseanne Haven, Peter Albrecht, Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth, and Randy Patrick Sports. This is WKRG News 5 at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. And remember, happening right now on WKRG.com and our Facebook page is a virtual town hall with local leaders discussing how to bring the community together. City leaders and members of the NAACP answering your questions. That's on WKRG.com and our Facebook page.
And there is a growing movement for schools in Alabama named after Confederate leaders to be renamed. WKRG News 5 State Capitol Newsroom reporter Rashad Hudson tells us what the Attorney General is saying about the push.
It's been about a week since a group of people took down the statue of Robert E. Lee in front of the school that bears his name. Now calls are growing for this school as well as several others around the state to change their names.
For a student to walk around and constantly have a reminder that terrorizes them on someone who kept their knee on their neck.
Marsha Johnson is one of several former and current students pushing to have the name of Robert E. Lee stripped from this school.
That statue was erected to glorify and romanticize a Confederate leader who kept slaves in bondage.
Take them down! Take them down!
About a dozen met Tuesday on the Capitol steps calling on Governor Kay Ivey and lawmakers to repeal the Alabama Memorial Preservation Act.
We resent these statues and they need to be taken down and taken down now.
The law protects historical monuments, including the ones people are demanding come down. The group placed a small statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the pedestal where Lee stood.
I think that's up to the legislature to decide. To the extent they want to have greater enforcement authority other than a fine, then it's their duty to act.
Reporting in Montgomery, Rashad Hudson, WKRG News 5.
Some U.S. military bases could soon see a name change. Army officials say U.S. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy and Secretary of Defense Mark Esper are open to holding a bipartisan conversation about renaming nearly a dozen major bases and installations that bear the names of Confederate military commanders. That means Army installations including Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Fort Hood in Texas, and Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia could all be renamed.
Artwork supporting Black Lives Matter and showing solidarity popping up around Birmingham. Some of the paintings are interactive. People can paint their hands and leave their own handprint on the mural. It's becoming a popular spot for people to visit.
There's a quote, I believe it's Dali, that says art is there to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. It's basically therapy, you know. We're here to show solidarity with the community and to bring some color and happiness into the world.
And the artists plan to continue to work on pieces throughout the week. Flooding from Cristobal really hit the Mississippi Gulf Coast hard. One man in Gulfport, though, made sure some classic cars were not damaged by high water. The cars were at the bottom of the Golden Nugget Casino parking garage. The area flooded as Cristobal moved on shore. After pictures were posted on social media, the man saw it and jumped into action.
Straight to Home Depot, grabbed some center blocks, went to the shop, grabbed some jacks, and headed here during all the flood water and all that good stuff.
And Austin Owens helped save a Mazda RX-7 from potentially being ruined in the flood waters by putting it up on blocks. The owners of that car and a Ferrari later moved it. Austin says he never expected to become a social media star. He was just trying to save some awesome vehicles. You can hear more about this at WKRG.com.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth with your First Alert Storm Team forecast.
Well, living on the Gulf Coast, we're certainly used to humid days, but today was exceptionally humid by June standards.
Randy Patrick joins us now with news of a USA-Alabama series in basketball.
Oh, okay, you wanted me to say football and everybody goes, whoa! Yeah,
So
we'll
I'll take that.
we'll
Sure.
take what we can get. Baseball, volleyball, it doesn't really matter, but we've got some exciting news coming out of Tuscaloosa and Mobile today concerning the two programs. And a local high school basketball standout, Pete, is one of the nation's top upcoming college prospects. The story just ahead.
Now, Randy Patrick with your WKRG News 5 Sports.
The University of South Alabama men's basketball program will play a 3-game series against Alabama beginning this season. The Jags and Crimson Tide will meet in Tuscaloosa this year, and in 22-23, the teams will play at the Mitchell Center in 2021-22. No dates have been released. Jaguar coach Richie Riley said it's a great series for the program and really exciting for the fan base. The Jags met Alabama in the opening round of the 1989 NCAA tournament, with USA upsetting the Crimson Tide. The two wouldn't meet again until Bama beat USA in 1998 in Birmingham in the last matchup between the two programs in Tuscaloosa in 2010. Alabama won that game. And the upcoming season, USA will play at Alabama and Auburn. How about that? McGill-Tulane Catholic High's Barry Dunning Jr. making news this week. The rising junior has been named the 33rd ranked prospect in the nation in the class of 2022 by ESPN. He averaged almost 16 points a game as a sophomore, grabbed 10 rebounds a game. The 6'6" Dunning is being recruited by Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Alabama, and many others. NASCAR will allow a limited number of fans to return to races later this month amid the pandemic. The plan for Homestead Miami Speedway this Sunday is to allow 1,000 South Florida service members to attend the race. Talladega will allow up to 5,000 guests in the front stretch grandstands for the June 21st race. NASCAR says all fans will be screened before entering and required to wear face masks. Tonight's senior spring athlete shout-out goes to Sean Mahler of McGill-Tulane High School. Sean played 2 years of varsity baseball for the Yellow Jackets. The outfielder was one of the team captains. Sean is a scholar athlete and will be attending Auburn University in the professional flight program. Good luck, Sean.
Today's senior athlete shout-out is brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota. Spring Hill Toyota is proud to salute our local 2020 seniors. Visit springhilltoyota.com.
Remember, happening right now on WKRG.com and our Facebook page, a virtual town hall with local leaders like Sheriff Sam Cochran, who you see there, discussing how to bring the community together and move forward. City leaders and members of the NAACP taking your questions. And again, you can watch that right now on WKRG.com and our Facebook page. It runs until 7 o'clock tonight.
And of course, we want you to stay here with us because News 5 at 6:30 is next.